Day 123. I'm doing this video now for 100,000 times because always somebody calls. So I'm doing good. I'm doing better. The sun is coming out, so I was taking 10 minutes outside, just laying in the sun. Thankful for that. But normally I do post every day, so I had now, I think, 3 days where I posted in the community post that I don't upload a video because it was just horrible these days. Austria with the floodings, a lot of things just happened. I'm always in a constant fear because I'm next to the river. It was just making me anxious. Luca's dad was here. Our energy doesn't match, but he, when he wants to visit his son because he's from Switzerland, I am respectful about that since now 11 years and say, you can always stay here. We do have a separate room where he can be, but it takes away my personal safe space because we really, I'm not very, I don't like his energy and his way of communicating and I'm shutting up just to don't make the situation worse. So this whole stress part is eating me alive from the inside, and I do feel that my body's shutting down. So keep that in mind when you're having any kind of issues with your health, that sometimes it's also the stress part and the things that are happening in your mindset, and to change that, it's much more difficult to get there at some point than the nutritional part. A colleague yesterday also died, so the whole company, the whole energy in the company is also very, and it was raining outside now for weeks, so nobody had sun, nobody had really fun, everybody was having issues and problems at home then as well. So yeah, it was just a big picture, and also some people affected me, so it was just tearing me a little bit down, and it was a little bit of a bowl of bad energy these couple of days. So it didn't have a lot to do with nutrition in the end. I'm now trying to get again in the good mood because my visitors are leaving, so I'm gonna have my space for myself and clear the energy, because I'm really sensitive to this kind of energy, I have to say. Then my son and I have a completely different back and forth. When we are alone, we are just having so much fun, and when somebody's here, it's just a little bit of a intense situation that we don't both feel good about it. So that's the thing about that. And I didn't have the space to upload videos in the end. And with the food part, it's when I'm that stressed, it was actually not that bad like I used to. I would just go crazy with everything. But one thing that I did do as a mistake, really, because I didn't have my ground beef and these kind of things, and I just enjoy it, I did almost every day fast at about 20 hours most of the time, and then had not just had one meal a day, because I did eat then maybe 4 or 5 hours, I don't know, for 20 hours, for 4 hours, yeah, 4 hours I did eat, because it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, from 6 to 10 I was eating. And I had also then snacks and snacks from pork fat, or then some bacon, or I just cooked eggs suddenly at 10 at night. So I was eating these 4 hours. And one thing that I did wrong is I bought protein bread for my son for school because he missed bread. So we are using the bread that has the lowest carb impact. And I was then eating in total 4 pieces of bread in the last week, like in a week, with butter, because it was there. It was there, and if it's not there, I'm not eating it, but it was there. So that's really hard a little bit also, having kids and trying to change something when you're not capable of saying no with these kind of things. But it's interesting because as soon as I ate this bread, which contains also some what does it contain? Let me see. I cannot translate it, but it's it's also wheat. It's sesame. It's sunflower. Oh my god, I have no idea what these things are in English. I'm so sorry, but a lot of bad stuff. And I had an immediate effect. Immediate. My stomach was bloating and I really felt uncomfortable. I couldn't go out and it was really bad. And then I remembered myself, where's the difference between carnivore and everything else? Because when I eat just a carnivore and even my sheep cheese and my white meat that doesn't cause me histamine issues, and I don't eat egg whites because they're causing me a lot of issues, I never have bloatings. I can eat as much as I want, but my stomach doesn't get like really big or uncomfortable or something like that. And why is this so important? Because when this happens, when your stomach is bloating and you're farting or whatever, it puts pressure into a lot of things here, like, you know, on the organ parts. It's just putting a big pressure, and I can then feel pain from the stomach part to here to the lungs. Even it's just painful, like the whole body gets really painful also with that. So that changed it on carnivore drastically, and that's the good part. So that's one of the most amazing parts, I have to say. And just having also this mindset about alcohol, and also, you know, having the visitor, which we usually have a little bit of a drink or a wine glass and just enjoy, or just go to friends and then have there something to drink. I don't do that, and I feel that this is how it's supposed to be. I don't need that. I really don't. And it's just not the right crowd if they, you know, if I have to spend their time and they're forcing me. So I'm lucky with that. They didn't force me. They accepted it. Also because of my health issues, and they know about my MS and how I struggled and how I've been to the hospital a lot and how I, you know, cried my eyes off because it was really bad. So they do, it's a little bit of a different kind of acceptance than in a group, than you just saying you don't want to drink and then they're maybe starting to force you. So I do have that. They're fine with that usually. I didn't have any bad experience now. Team events, 2 team events, friends. We went out to a girls' night out, no issues here. And also with the people, you know, in my family or just in a French group, they also accepted that. And so that's that part with the alcohol as well. And the kind of moderation which I have issues is, and it's very important for you to know as well, because I don't have issues like overeating a lot of what people usually do, like sugary stuff or these kind of things. I don't have that. But my personal craving parts, and everybody knows that by now, is protein bars and protein cookies, because I like these kind of very dry taste, and it makes me full because of the protein, and it still makes me a little bit more satisfied than if I eat something else. But the problem is I don't eat one protein cookie, then I do that one day, maybe 2 days, but in the third day I eat like 40 of them if I need. No, okay, that was a little bit too much. But I think the most that I was eating one time was like 6-7 protein bars. You know. And the problem, which I yesterday realized, because my ex is in a medical field, he said, you know, even if you are obsessing with your protein stuff, you really need to be careful because of your kidneys. Do you drink enough? Because most people don't drink enough. If you have one protein shake or whatever you're drinking, you really need to drink more than the same amount of water, because in the long term, after 2-3 years or longer, your kidneys will fail. Kidney insufficiency, I can't remember what's the name, but he saw that now a lot in people, especially who did a lot of sport and athletics and just were doing a lot of protein shakes and these kind of things. They didn't take that into consideration to have and to drink enough water. So I even didn't know that, and I am, you know, watching a lot of content about nutrition and these kind of things, but I didn't realize how important this is until I started having, after 3 days, pain, and I was thinking it's back pain, but it's the same location like the kidneys. And then I realized I didn't even drink water. I really was really careless about the water intake that I usually do have, just because my space was a little bit invased, and my habits that I have with my water and where I put it and how I drink it, it was just interfered with the whole situation, people being here, and that was really troubled for me, because then I just forgot about it. So that's one thing to keep in mind also about your habits, maybe with the water or these kind of things. If you change your location, to not forget to still have these kind of things, and especially the water part. Yeah, that's something that's very important. And it's hard. It's hard because really of the mental state, and it's not about being sad sometimes. Like these couple of days, it was not really sad. It was just eating my feelings to my insides and not sharing, because some people, you cannot share certain kind of things because it just doesn't make sense to share it, and it will just make it worse, or they will argue with you and it's the last thing you want to do or whatever. You sometimes just want people to understand you and just to be, considerate, good people in the end, and to just get you when you're down. And that's not what happened the last couple of days, so that's a little bit hard then to get over this. So I wasn't really emotional, like this kind of sadness that then make me eat protein cookies in the end. It was more about just numbing my own thoughts and just doing something which I don't even realize I was doing. I was realizing it after I was sitting and watching something stupid or eating a cookie or something. So the good part that I was doing is still putting myself out, because I did a CrossFit and I went to the training and I forced myself to do so. And Dr. Haberman said it in a really good words, because most people, when they're stressed or in a discomfort, they go and do something light and easy, like cleaning, even if they don't like cleaning, but it's still a light task to do. But actually they figured out, also in Stanford, you have to force yourself to do something even worse, like extremely, if you hate running and it really makes you suffer, to do something like that, because this will put you out of your misery in the end. And that's true, because the CrossFit and really took my mind off just me feeling this energy and pain, and just from the weight part. And that's why, people saying in the beginning also, do weights and these kind of things. And before I got into weights, I always said, why should I? But in the end, it's just giving you a little bit of self-control over your body and your mind at some certain points. And you can do it with no equipment. You can do it with your own body weight. You can do it at home. You can do it with friends. You can go outside with your kids and just use, just lift some little trees or whatever, and then it's outside, or a car. I had friends that lifted a car, so that's also an exercise. So it's just very open to every budget and every person, and every weight you can lift. And even if it's just something very small and light, you can even lift your meat. Just do that, just to have this little bit of a movement and a weight, and to feel your body, to feel your muscles, to feel that you have something here that will support you if you take care of it. So that's what I can give you also as a little bit of my personal opinion, and it helps with keep the mental state okay. Because normally, if I didn't have that and do the sport and do these kind of things, I would falling into a very dark space in these couple of days, because it was summing up. A lot of things were happening, so a lot of things just were summing up, and it put me out of these situations. And that's very important. That's really important for your health, and that's also what a lot of carnivores experience, because they have then more energy to do sport and be outside and have the sunlight and focus on the good stuff. And I think that this helps. This helps also with the anxieties people have, or panic attacks, and a lot of different kind of things that basically every carnivore had. People even where you don't realize it, men and women. And this just helps a lot. And that's why carnivore, it's not about only the nutritional part. It just helps you along the way to figure out how to cope with certain things you cannot change. You cannot change, your surrounding and what is happening, but you can change how you act around it. And it helps just you do that. So happy to have you guys. Would love to know what your really best advice for people who are struggling with whatever is happening in their life, stress, what your personal go-to mechanism is. I think it will benefit people. And today I do have an interview with a carnivore podcast, but I will tell you tomorrow about it if it really happens, because I'm always a little bit not skeptical, but with the technology and with the camera and the audio, sometimes things go wrong and then it doesn't happen. So I'm never saying something in advance, that I'm looking forward to it, because if it happens, I'm happy, and I will tell you tomorrow about it. And yeah, have a great day, and we'll see us tomorrow.